night? What's been the focus in practice since then?
Probably more so just staying sharp, and getting our the people that are coming off the bench in a good space, getting their confidence levels up, and hopefully they can contribute a little bit more. We don't like playing, our starters heavy minutes like we had to play. They got to be ready to play. They got to be ready to contribute. So we're getting better, and we really concentrated on that in the last 2 days.
What have been some of the specific key points that you've been focusing on in practice this week, kind of specific to South Dakota this week?
I mean, defensively, they play a different style of play, like a more 5-out, and it spreads you out, drive it to the basket, trigger help to kick out for threes. So we're just trying to stay, just communicating a whole lot. Getting up and down in transition is a big key for us, just making sure we convert, and we're getting better. And then just getting our bigs in a position where they get more looks. Maybe not in the low post, maybe on a perimeter a little bit, and they have to be patient enough to let that develop and take some shots.
You've mentioned kind of getting the youngsters involved, in practice so that you have the time for them to shine is in the games. That's not whenever they look bad. What have you been seeing from them, and how are they progressing to this point? Will we see some more of them this week or maybe in the next couple of games?
We're going to try some people to come off the bench. Whether or not they can deliver is one thing. But I know that, we didn't play our starters. We didn't practice our starters a whole lot yesterday, and gave them a lot more, reps. And they look good. Yeah, I think once they know that they're the focal point, they're a lot better. So we're gonna try to keep them the focal point while also keeping our starters the focal point, so they can get better. I mean, we need for them to give us something, or even if we build a lead with our starters, the lead's got to stay there or they got to increase it, and that's what their concentration needs to be.
Yeah, I wanted to ask specifically about Sanaya Rivers. You mentioned how you wanted to see her kind of progress defensively. Her offense was there. What have you seen from her in the past couple of days? I know we didn't get to see her against NC State. Is she doing all right, or is it just kind of the way that game worked
Yesterday was very promising, in that I didn't talk to her purposely because I wanted to see how she responds to not playing, and she responded, like, on both sides of the basketball, and she's a great player. We just got to get her there. Sometimes you lead them there different ways. You can coddle them, which they need sometimes, or then you gotta hit them with a little bit of tough love and see how they respond. And she responded, without being, coddled, and that's growth.
And one more thing I wanted to ask, I've been seeing on Twitter with the other black women coaches, receiving their pieces of the net. Just kind of seeing that response from your perspective, how has that been, seeing their videos, and have you heard from any of them personally? Just kind of tell me about what the last few days have been like in that regard.
I mean, I wanted to do something because Carolyn Peck was gracious enough to give me a piece of her net. So I wanted to do something. She wanted me to pay it forward, and I just really didn't know who, because there are a lot of black coaches out there that are doing some great things. So I thought about giving 2, 3, 4 of them. And then I'm just like, hey, let's just give them all, because you never know what they're going through in their coaching day to day, and I wanted to be a tangible thing that they could utilize every day to push them over the top. A bad day, a bad practice, a bad moment. And that's also to create the narratives that we want to see in our game, because there are a lot of forgotten stories that are not being told, and we wanted to be out front and telling this story.
And the response have you gotten? Have you talked to anyone
I got a lot of responses. Yeah. I mean, some on Twitter. We missed a few JUCOs, so we're gonna, we got a few left. So we're gonna try to reach out to the people that really they want it. If they want it, and it could be a source of hope for them, so be it.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Anything else for Coach?
I just have one last question. Sorry, struggling here. So talk a little bit about the excitement in this week. You talked about this narrative and that top 5 matchup the other day, and I guess headed into this game Friday. I guess how does that narrative continue?
I mean, for women's basketball, women's basketball is at an all-time high where, competitive teams are playing more competitive teams, and that is the thing that wasn't always the case in our game, because for some reason or another we're like, let's just wait to game 7, 8, 9, 10 to play these games where you can measure yourself from the outset, and you'll see more and more people playing competitive games. And for us, I mean, it's a challenge. This team, has been together for a long time, and we added some new talent to it, so they're ready for it. We just have to give them a platform to play on, and that's what we're doing. And hopefully we can continue to get better. Hopefully we continue to win basketball games. But we're utilizing November and December for March and April.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you
Coach.
so much,
Coach.
Coach.
Thank you all.